Welcome to 5 Minutes with Phil. I recently did a review of Heroes 3, then when I was browsing YouTube, I found another review of Heroes 3, made by somebody else. Can you imagine that? And get this, he didn't even have many subscribers or views. How dare he post his video on YouTube? How dare he encroach upon my domain? I posted a hateful comment on his channel to exact my revenge, then I began stalking him on his other videos to uncover dirt I could use against him. I saw he had reviewed a rubbish game, so I laughed at him for giving it a go, and stated how unfit he was as a game reviewer, because I'm so much more famous on YouTube than he is. And then I went and released a dozen videos on walking sticks. Of course I didn't actually do any of this, and no, it isn't one of those crazy dreams I've been having recently. But something like this actually happened to me 7 or 8 years ago over on Amazon's site, and it was just too amusing not to share with you. I buy some questionable things that sound too good to be true, things I suspect might be a bit rubbish. I do this in part because I hope to get lucky, but also because if my suspicions are true and it is bad, I've learned firsthand that it's bad, why it's bad, and I can leave a review to warn others about it. Because while it's good to know things, it's better to know from experience. Unless you get shocked by that cheap PSU you took a gamble on. That wasn't any fun at all. Back in 2013, I was looking for a new mouse and stumbled upon one over on Amazon that seemed too good to be true. This was one of those cheap brands of mice which for £20 boasted more features and specs than anything else on the market. And this product had nothing but thousands of positive reviews. It seemed too good to be true, so I decided to try it because why not? I bought it, it arrived, and it was worse than I could have imagined. It had some really quirky acceleration issues. The input was actually delayed. You'd move it across the desk and the cursor on screen would follow behind, like somebody was behind the screen trying to mimic my actions. Worse still, if I stopped the mouse suddenly, the cursor would carry on for a while, before slowly decelerating to a stop. It was like trying to control your PC with a remote control car. It was literally unplayable. So I posted a review explaining this, giving it a very generous 3 stars. Had this all happened today, I would have proudly given it a 1-star rating. But back then I was weak, and assumed that all those thousands of other reviewers couldn't all have been wrong, and that my 3-star review could simply highlight that it was wrong for me, but that it might still be okay for other people if they don't mind being unable to aim with it. The company reached out to me straight away, saying that they'd replace it. And they did, quickly. Great service, but just a shame that the replacement product was equally bad. I still couldn't believe that none of the other thousands of 5-star reviewers had picked up on this somehow. I moved on, I found a better mouse, and that was it. The end? A while later, my review on Amazon got a comment from somebody who seemed angry with that review. He went off on how terrible a reviewer I was, how I wasn't qualified to rate the product while boasting that he was one of the UK's top reviewers on the site. This didn't anger me because, let's be honest, it's a comment on an Amazon review. But it bemused me. I don't think I even responded, because why would I? But for the rest of that day, one by one, each of my older Amazon reviews got a comment from this same angry individual. He was there picking apart everything I had written on the site and using it against me. That cheap PSU that failed on me is proof that I'm unqualified to deliver my opinion on it because I chose to buy a bad product. I use normal-sized condoms? What a loser, and so on. Funnily enough, it was the PSU comment that hurt me the most. The idea that here I was, confirming that cheap PSUs weren't worth getting, only for a top Amazon reviewer to tell me that I was a bad reviewer for reviewing a bad product. Who was this person? Who was using my honest reviews against me? It made no sense. So I looked up his profile and to my surprise, he was ranked in the top Amazon reviewers in the UK. If not the top 10, then definitely the top 20. I can't remember exactly what it was because it's not particularly important. I had never been interested in learning about what being a top Amazon reviewer entailed because, let's be honest, why would I care? But from his profile, I quickly saw how he had done it from his reviews. He would review the same product multiple times, sometimes dozens of times. He didn't just review a walking stick, he would copy and paste that review for the left-handed version as well. This was incredibly petty, even for internet behaviour. I have to admit, I was quite fascinated by it all, and still more bemused than I was upset. To think that I had stumbled into some weird recess on the internet and had somehow unintentionally upset somebody important from that recess with my mild-mannered reviews. To this day, I'm still not sure exactly what I had done to upset him this much. I don't think he had anything to do with the mouse company, he just didn't seem to like me. So in conclusion, I was bullied by a top reviewer on Amazon because I had reviewed a few of the products I had bought from Amazon with the intention of providing useful feedback for anybody else looking to buy them. The irony was he was super bad at reviewing my reviews. I came away from this with even less respect for Amazon reviewers than I had before, and this has since extended to cover Reddit posters and pretty much any sort of position of petty power on the internet, because as sad and as petty as I might be, I'm far from being the most sad or most petty on the internet. You want proof that any of this happened? I'm sorry, I can't find any. I've tried looking up my old reviews, which are still there, but the comments aren't, and I've browsed through my old emails, but alas, cannot find any evidence that what I've told you actually happened. It's as though the whole thing has been wiped from existence, and that's a shame because I know you're not going to believe me. Maybe this was all just a weird dream after all.